In this lesson, we are going to talk about how to graph an inequality instead of an equation. Okay. First thing we have to know is, what are inequalities? Okay, there are actually 4 types of inequality. You can have less than, or equal to, greater than, or equal to. So instead of seeing the regular old equal sign, you are now going to see one of these 4 inequalities. Now, the difference between an inequality and an equation, there's 2 things. Okay, when we are graphing, you're going to have solid lines and you're going to have dashed lines. So that's the main, there's one main difference right there, is some of the lines are going to be dashed and some of them are going to be solid. And then the other main difference is with inequalities, if I say x is greater than 5, well, what are numbers greater than 5? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 500, a million? All those numbers are greater than 5. So you got lots of answers. You don't have just one set answer, like when I say x equals 5, and it could be 5 only. Well, then inequalities, you got a range of answers. So since we have a range of answers, we have to shade in all of the part that's true. So 2 main differences. You're going to have some solid lines and dashed lines. And then with inequalities, you also have to shade. So I'm going to scroll down here where I have a little bit of space, and we're going to write down some key information. Okay, to be a solid line, you have to have the or equals to bar. So less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, those are graphed with solid lines. If it doesn't have the or equals to, so if it just says less or greater, then you're going to graph those with a dashed or dotted line. Now let's talk about shading. If it says less than or equal to, or less than, the point is just saying less. If you're saying less, you're going to shade below the y-intercept. If it says greater than or equal to, or just greater than, the point is greater. If it says greater, you're going to shade above the y-intercept. So keeping that key information in mind, let's go up here and look at our examples. So you got to remember y equals mx plus b. So we're still graphing that way. So start with the y-intercept, which is -1. That goes on the y-axis. My slope is 1, so think of that as up 1 over 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, several times. This one has the or equals to. So if it has the or equals to, you're going to graph in a solid line. So now I put my pencil on the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is right here at -1 in the color green. So I put my pencil on the y-intercept, and my inequality is less. So if it's less, you're going to shade below. So if I want to shade below the y-intercept, then that would be everything that is below the line. Because it says less than, you find the y-intercept and you shade below, because you're wanting to shade all of the y numbers that are smaller than -1. So let's go to the next one. Y-intercept is 6. So we're going to go up to 6, put a dot. For this time, remember, the slope is negative, so only use the negative 1 time. So I'm going to put the negative on top. So I'm going to go down and then right. Okay, down and right. So down to right 5. Down to right 5. This one does not have the or equals to, so that means this time we're going to graph it with a dashed line. So here's my dashed line. So put your pencil on the y-intercept, which is at 6. This time we're saying y is greater. Y numbers get bigger when I go up. So you want to shade everything above the line. So any point that would be in that shaded region would be an answer to this inequality. Okay, next one. Oh, hopefully you put on the brakes and you think, oh, this doesn't have both letters, so it can't be a diagonal line. If it only has one letter, I got to go back to Hoivux. And this one has the Y, so everybody should be thinking Hoi, which means it's a horizontal line. So I'm going to go find 2 on the Y. This one doesn't have the or equals to, so that means it's got to be a dashed line. So put in our dashed line horizontally. Boom. Put your pencil on 2. And then we're saying y is less. Y numbers get smaller when I go down. So you should be shading everything below your dashed line. Okay, D. Once again, only one variable. So can't be a diagonal line. So now you're thinking Hoivux, and this time you're going to be thinking Vux. So it's going to be a vertical line. So go find 3 on the X. This one has the or equals to, so that means it's going to be a solid line. Make sure you make it vertical. Now, with vertical lines, we're not really shading above or below. We're shading to the right or to the left. So if it says less than, that's going to be to the left. And if it says greater, that's going to be to the right. So that's for vertical lines. Ours is saying greater, so X numbers get bigger when you go to the right, so you should be shading all of this area on the right side. Okay, one more. Oh, the last one. Last one's a little bit tricky because it has both letters, but y is not by itself. So we must rearrange this into slope-intercept form. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 2x and move it to the other side. And remember, when you move it over, you have to switch its sign. So you're going to make it become negative 2x. Now, we're not allowed to have anything in front of y. So to get rid of that, we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. And then I'm going to make you remember something all the way back from Unit 1 when we talked about solving inequalities. What happens if you divide everything by a negative? Hopefully everybody says, oh, you have to flip the sign. So I'm going to put a little star down here. If you divide by a negative number, flip the inequality. Very important to remember that. So now it becomes y is less than negative 2 over negative 4. Well, a negative over a negative makes a positive, and 2 over 4 reduces down to 1/2. And then 16 divided by negative 4 is negative 4. So now graph that one. So we're going to go to negative 4 on the y. We're going to go up 1 and right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2, etc. And you could also do your slope backwards if you want. Down and left, 2. Okay, this one does not have the or equals to, so this has got to be a dashed line. So here's my dashed line. And put your pencil on the y-intercept. Now remember, we switched it to less than. So less than is when you go down. So you should be shading this bottom part. Now on our second example, we're going to go backwards. Instead of you making the picture, I'm going to give you the picture, and your job is to write the inequality. So the first thing you have to do is you have to know the slope and the y-intercept. So remember, for slope, pick 2 points. So I'm going to pick 0, 0, and I'm going to pick the point 3, 1. Draw a little triangle between them. Count rise, which is up 1. Run, which is across 3. So my slope is a positive 1/3. Now I also have to know the y-intercept, the b. So where does it cross the y-axis? Crosses the y-axis at 0. Okay, and then I made a little typo, so I'm going to fix this here. Let's make this line a dashed line. Sorry about that. So instead of a solid, let's make this one a dashed line. And you also notice that we are shading below. So I got Y. Shading below means less. Dashed line, so don't put the or equals to bar, just leave it as less. And then M is 1/3, X plus B, which is 0, done. Okay, the next one. Pick 2 points for your slope. So I'm going to pick this point and this point. Count your rise over run. So I'm going to go down 2, right 1. So that means my slope is -2 over 1, which is -2. B, where does it cross the y-axis? Crosses at 1. This one is a solid line. And this one is also shading below. So y, less than for below, or equals to because it's solid. And your slope is -2x, and your b is +1. Done. All right, and then we got one word problem here. So Science Club is selling t-shirts and keychains. Off to the side in the picture, it tells you a t-shirt is $10, a keychain is $2, and the goal is to have at least 50 or more, because it says we want to meet or exceed our goal. And then it goes through and it says, if the club wishes to sell 50 keychains, what is the least number of t-shirts they would have to sell? All right, so I'm going to let X be the t-shirts and Y be the keychains. So t-shirt is $10, so 10X, plus keychains is $2, so 2Y. And then at least means that much or more. So is everybody okay that we put greater than or equal to? And then we're selling 50. Oh, sorry, not 50. Our goal is 500. My bad. Sorry about that. We want to raise at least $500 or more. The 50 will come into play later. So then we're going to solve for y. So move the 10x over. So 2y is greater than or equal to -10x plus 500. Divide both sides by 2. So y is greater than or equal to negative 5x plus 250. So now to graph it, go on the y-axis to 250. And then we're going to go down 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and across 1. And if you can hear my dog barking, I am so sorry. She is super playful right now. So down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and across 1. So I'm just going to do that several times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll have this line right here. And we're saying greater. So I put my pencil at 250, and greater is when I go up. So everybody should be shading in this side over here. Okay, now the first question says, how many t-shirts and keychains could I sell to meet this or exceed this goal? So what you need to do is you just need to find a nice point that's anywhere in the shaded region. Okay, so any point that's in the shaded region. So I'm just going to pick this point right here. So remember, X is t-shirts. So I'm going to say 60 shirts. And then go across, Y is 20 keychains. So remember, to be a solution, it must be in the shaded region. So now let's go to the second question. Okay, what if I sell 50 keychains? So remember, keychains is Y. So go on the Y-axis till you find 50. Follow it across till it hits the line. Follow it down, and the X number is 40. So if we sell 50 keychains, what is the least number of shirts they would have to sell? That would be 40 shirts. So they could sell 40 or more shirts. So I'll put 40 or more shirts. Okay, that's it.